Today, inshallah, we're going to be discussing the situation in France that is now bubbling up and spreading around the world. To summarize what is going on there could be difficult, given that this is not new. It's been going on for, someone would say 20 years, but you could even argue decades, dating back to when the French government invaded Algeria and massacred literally millions of Algerian Muslims, decapitated them. Some took their heads, took pictures of them, made postcards of it. I mean, let's be honest, France suffered a series of horrific terrorist attacks by extremist groups during the reign of ISIS. And so that undoubtedly contributed, to fears and hostility towards Muslims in France. But Islamophobia existed and was significant before those attacks. So it makes no logical sense to blame or hate all French Muslims or any French Muslims because of what some extremists do. Just like it doesn't make sense for the Muslim world at large to hate French people because of what the French did to Algerians, 50 years ago, or for that matter, what the French government is still doing in certain Muslim countries by propping up dictators who unleash horrific crimes against. But I digress. And to discuss the situation, we've got on a special guest who many of you will be meeting for the very first time, Brother Hudhaifa Shabazz, who is the new research and advocacy coordinator for CAIR National.
Previously, I was a summer fellow with the Institute for Policy Studies. Prior to that, I was part of the Othering and Belonging Institute, working on issues of ethno-nationalism across the globe and working on the far right, which is very relevant to the discussion we're about to have today. And so what has happened in the past week or so is the horrific killing of Samuel Paty, who showed pictures of the Prophet Muhammad in his school, knowing that this is a sensitive and religious topic to many Muslims across the globe. And so after that, we saw calls, we saw the murder of Samuel Paty by an individual who supposedly was using our religion in that name. As you mentioned, 200 years of colonial brutality, the manifestations are still happening today. And so what we're seeing in France today is a collective punishment of 5 million French Muslims for the actions of a single individual, and a crackdown of Muslim organizations, and in particular, the Collective Against Islamophobia, which is one of the largest human rights organizations on the ground in France.
The Collective is a group of Muslim Brotherhood organizations in Europe.
A lot of people should be supporting is the Collective Against Islamophobia.
It is similar to the U.S. Conference of Muslim Organizations, which is also comprised of Muslim Brotherhood groups. Both the USCMO and the Collective Against Islamophobia have CAIR as a member. The Collective's latest report tells us that the Paris police headquarters stabbing was not a terror attack. But no, it was. The Collective Against Islamophobia is implicated in the murder of Samuel Paty. Part of the social media campaign of incitement against Paty mentions the Collective. At the very least, the Collective did nothing to stop the situation. This story should be of interest to people in America because CAIR regularly engages in hate campaigns against Americans to get them fired. For example, Dan Leonard. Dan Leonard had the effrontery to mock Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib on Facebook. CAIR called for his resignation.
He's not backing down. He's not apologizing. He's not even, insinuating that there's something wrong about it. The Board of Education needs to ask for his resignation.
And unleashed death threats against Leonard on Facebook. Bill Larian used the word camels in a Facebook comment. CAIR then turned the town of Dearborn against him. A TV news crew descended on his home, terrorizing his family.
That's City of Dearborn Engineering Department worker Bill Larian telling a shameful, bold-faced lie.
the ABC affiliate WXYZ sent push alerts about Larian to people's phones before the city eventually fired him. Nicholas Damask, a college professor, taught a course discussing facts about Islam. In response, CAIR sued him, but did nothing about the death threats he received from all over the world.
Today we're joined by Nicholas Damask. He is a professor at Scottsdale Community College in Arizona and has been teaching political science for over 20 years. We would like to discuss his recent experience at Scottsdale Community College. Well, describe this issue a little bit more.
Some sort of nitwit social media influencer who has a lot of followers got a hold of them and put them on his Instagram page.
Ayo, racist community college check! So they decided to quiz their students on Islamic terrorism. The first question, terrorism is always forbidden in Islam, right? Nope, incorrect. Are you freaking kidding me? Bruh. Here's another one. Where is terrorism encouraged in Islamic doctrine and law? Terrorism is not encouraged in Islamic doctrine and law, right? Nope, incorrect. Who do Islamic terrorists strive to emulate? It's not Saddam Hussein, it's not Osama bin Laden, and apparently Ibn Taymiyyah is incorrect. Prophet Muhammad, are you coming after my prophet, bro?
And from there, the college's Instagram page started getting hijacked. Threats, death threats, threats to have a school shooting, threats to burn buildings down at the school, threats to me personally, of course. Today, this morning, right now, there's threats going up. Maybe you should take a knife to your throat, or maybe you should be hung. Things like that. And incidentally, a lot of these posts are apparently by foreigners. These are posters from Pakistan and Malaysia and Turkey and, all over the four corners of the world. Half of them aren't even Americans, and the college responded to appease them.
Has CAIR, do you know if CAIR's been involved in any way in this matter with you? Did they organize any campaign?
I suspect they've talked to the school administrators because, and the reason I believe this is because I had a phone, before that apology post went out by the college, I had a couple of phone calls with college administrators, and they said to me, well, you probably are going to have to maybe meet with some Islamic religious leaders about this and talk about your class, or you may need to go take a class, a Muslim-led class about this. And so that makes me suspect, that CAIR has probably been...
Our executive director of CAIR Arizona, Imran Siddiqui.
After a little bit of investigation, we're able to find the student. We've actually retained the student as a client, so we're examining some different angles in terms of legal actions that we can take to try and rectify the situation. But it's definitely troubling.
Sniffing around the college and sticking its nose into the college's business and trying to influence the administrators. By the way, incidentally, that phone call with the college bureaucrats about maybe needing to take a Muslim-led class, at the exact time I was on the phone with that college administrator, my wife and I were throwing our socks and pajamas into our suitcase to get the hell out of the house because of death threats being posted by Muslims on the college Instagram page. So at the very same time, well, maybe you need to understand Islam a little better. I'm literally fleeing with my family from the people I'm supposed to be listening to, I guess. For 24 years, I thought I was a college professor in America, not a college professor in Pakistan. In other words, America is a place that's supposed to be where there's freedom of inquiry, freedom of discussion, not some foreign third world country where we don't have those things.
Fanatical Muslims have not murdered any of the people CAIR has targeted on TV. However, it is only a matter of time before the world becomes aware, one way or another, of the scandalous relationship between the media and the Council on American Islamic Relations.